Good morning. Thank you very much. I am delighted to take part in the important conversation about the future of American transportation and the men and women that are shaping it. I really came here for two reasons. First, to say thank you. The work you do for America's traveling public could not be more important. Almost from the very first day that I have come upon this job, I have emphasized safety. We talk about safety every day in every mode of transportation. We know that people get up every day and use many different forms of transportation, and the one thing that they know for certain is that whether they're on a bus or a light rail or a streetcar or a train or a plane or in their automobile or a motor coach, that it will be safe. That's what we think about at the Department of Transportation. The work that you do, the work that you're talking about here at this important meeting emphasizes safety. It will always be our #1 priority. And so on behalf of President Obama and my 58,000 colleagues at the Department of Transportation, thank you for making safety a priority. Thank you for thinking about it every day. Thank you for the work that you do to make all forms of transportation safe. Your creativity and imagination, your tireless pursuit of the next big idea, your exemplary dedication to safety is transforming transportation in America. Whether we're talking about connecting vehicle technology, new safety warning systems, or continued progress toward the car that doesn't crash. You are discovering new technologies every day. You're developing them. You're making them happen. You are pushing the frontiers of innovation. And our transportation system is safer, smarter, and greener as a result of your great work. I'm also here to talk about another issue that's very important. The roads and bridges on which America's connected vehicles, electric vehicles, and other high-tech vehicles will drive are in terrible shape in America. More than 1 in 4 of America's bridges are substandard, including an astonishing 12% that are structurally deficient. That's 6,858 bridges that, while safe to drive on in America, are nearing the end of their intended lifespan. Standing still is no way to maintain what used to be the world's best transportation system. I need you to join us in calling on Congress to put Americans back to work repairing our roads, bridges, and transit systems, and building the safest, fastest, most efficient way of moving people and products for the 21st century. You know the facts. We face a crisis in this country. Our citizens are struggling amongst the worst economic conditions in America. Our transportation systems are overburdened and fast becoming obsolete. And each successive day that Congress finds a reason not to act is another day that we're wasting the opportunity of our lifetimes. Right now, we're missing the opportunity to ease congestion on traffic-clogged roads. We're missing the opportunity to repair America's overburdened transit system and obsolete bridges. We're missing the opportunity to put in place a next-generation air traffic control system. And most of all, we're missing the opportunity to put our family, friends, and neighbors back to work. Each day is another day that an unemployed mom or dad decides between the groceries and the rent in America. It's another day that for someone, the American dream of buying a home or putting their children through college slips further from reach. Our challenges were a long time in making. We're not going to solve them overnight. But there are things we can do right now to connect workers with their jobs and the work that our country needs done. That's why President Obama has sent to Congress the American Jobs Act. That's why investments in transportation are such a major part of it. And here is what President Obama has put forward. The American Jobs Act includes $50 billion immediate investment in construction jobs rebuilding America's roadways, railways, transit systems, runways at airports. It will hire American workers to upgrade 150,000 miles of roads, to lay or maintain 4,000 miles of track, and to restore 150 miles of runways, and to put in place a next-generation air traffic control system that will control reduced travel time and delays. Nothing partisan about that. The American Jobs Act includes the National Infrastructure Bank with $10 billion up front that will leverage millions of dollars for projects. The bank will operate independently. It will issue loans emphasizing two criteria: how badly a project is needed and how much good it would do for the economy. No boondoggles, no earmarks, no bridges to nowhere, and no unnecessary red tape. Through a recently issued memorandum, President Obama has also directed our departments and agencies to identify high-impact, job-creating infrastructure projects so that we can fast-track them through the review and permitting processes. It seems to me that Democrats and Republicans can both agree that we should speed up project delivery times. Finally, all of this is funded without adding a dime to the deficit. No more adding it on the debt, no more adding it on the deficit. The President proposed that we pay for the American Jobs Act through his long-term plan to pay down our debt. A plan that cuts spending and asks the wealthiest citizens and biggest corporations to kick in their fair share. We've heard economists and analysts of every political persuasion tell us that the President's jobs bill will boost the economy and spur hiring to the tune of 2 million jobs. More importantly, we've heard the uproar of enthusiasm from the American people. I've traveled to over 200 cities in 48 states during the last 3 years. Everywhere I go, people come up to me and say, put our friends and neighbors back to work. Let's build America's infrastructure. Let's create American jobs, building America's infrastructure. Just in the month since President Obama sent the American Jobs Act to Congress, I've met with construction workers building St. Paul's new light rail, Charlotte's new streetcar system, and a new air traffic control tower in Oakland. I visited with leaders of the American labor movement at the Labor's International Convention, with business people in Kansas City, with economic development officials in Anchorage, Alaska, and with government officials and transit experts in Detroit. Their response to President Obama's call to action has been overwhelming. At every stop, workers and business leaders are shouting very loudly for the Congress to pass a jobs bill. This is not a partisan issue. This is not partisan sentiment. Americans are hurting. We have 9% unemployment. We need to put our friends and neighbors back to work. In one poll conducted earlier this year, 2 of 3 voters and 59% of Tea Party supporters said making improvements in transportation is extremely important. Unlikely allies like the Chamber of Commerce, Tom Donahue, who heads the U.S. Chamber, and the AFL-CIO president, Rich Trumka, are putting their full-throated advocacy behind transportation investments. I've talked with both of them. I've served on panels with both of them. I've heard them say, let's put America to work. This is one of those moments when the American people are counting on their representatives in Washington to set aside their differences and achieve the possible, not the perfect. They should expect nothing less. Nobody can or will get everything they want, and I've personally delivered that message to some of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, former colleagues. The bottom line is this: you know better than anyone, America's transportation system is a very special part of our heritage. The canals that first made interstate commerce possible, the transcontinental railroad that connected our coast, the interstate highway system that enabled a half a century of unrivaled opportunity and prosperity. American workers dreamed these things up. American workers wielded the shovels, laid the tracks, and poured the concrete that brought these things to life.